Hey everybody, it's Terensu, and we're playing Mission Impossible 64. As you might have been able to tell by my other video, I've kind of been looking into this game recently. I used to rent this all the time as a kid. Rented it a lot. Spent a lot of money. Probably could have bought this game with the money that or should I say my parents gave to me to rent this silly little game on the weekend. And there's one thing I've never done, and that's beat it all the way through on the impossible difficulty setting. This is a pretty goofy little game. It's not the best game, but it's still very much worth playing because it does have a very silly little charm to it, and it can be fun. Some of the level design and mission design is pretty creative, I would say, and just the way the thought process that they expect you to find in some of these is pretty interesting, to say the least. So we're just going to do kind of a raw let's play this game. There is no way I'm going to beat this thing all the way through with no mistakes. It's just not going to happen. But I'm going to put all that otherwise in there so you can see it all. But anyway, let's go ahead and start a new game. Let's select Impossible, and we're going to attempt to see if it's possible or not. Now, this game, I didn't bother to look up. I think it was actually released like a year or so after the first Mission Impossible movie with Tom Cruise. And to my knowledge, Tom Cruise has never lent his likeness to a video game before. He has some sort of objection to it or something like that. But anyway, this is just kind of a generic Ethan Hunt. It does kind of follow the movie's plot, but not really. So the basic plot of the movie comes in later. The movie's plot is essentially bookended by this subplot in this like abandoned Soviet base where this terrorist, which you'll see in a minute, well, I'll just let you watch the story. So let's go ahead and get started. Ice hit. This is some wonderful graphics here. Also, I believe this scene works by taking the player character's model and swapping it with Phelps. So that's actually the player character that's sitting there in this cutscene.
International weapons dealer Basil Prokosh has set up operations at an abandoned World War II submarine base in Lundqvist. Our information shows he is planning to upset peace in the Gulf by selling 12 medium-range missiles to an enemy country. Your mission, Jim, should you decide to accept it, is to sabotage the submarine transporting the missiles. As always, should you or any of your IM force be caught or killed, the Secretary will disavow any knowledge of your actions.
What is his hand doing?
It will self-destruct in 5 seconds. Good luck, Jim.
Look at that wrist at that 90-degree angle there. That can't be healthy. Okay, I know the thing's self-destructed, but surely someone could figure out something they weren't supposed to because he just left that there. Anyway. So, they do the kind of like Perfect Dark and GoldenEye. Like, you can't help but feel like this game was inspired in some aspect by GoldenEye and Perfect Dark and, you know, those games, because it's objective-based mission structure game, but you get this little text kind of explaining what to do. Fortunately, these early levels, I'm kind of pretty familiar with it. The most fun part of this game to me is using the face maker and disguising yourself as other people. I thought that was really cool as a kid because, you know, the enemies will like talk to you and you can find out stuff. But anyway, let's get started. So we need to change our identity. We need to find an excuse for an errand. We need to destroy an electric power panel, and we need to get to the sub pen. Now, one would think you would do this stuff and then leave the level, but no, this is Mission Impossible 64, so you have to do the most contrived thing in the world to get to the sub pen. But anyway. Alright, it's been a while since I played this. Let's get the controls. So you got your duck. It's a view orient. Okay. There's our shoot. Okay. You know, this is not just like a straight up, you know, shooting game. Like, one might expect it to be just like an FPS or something, but it's actually not. There are two ways you can do this first part. One is to disguise yourself immediately and hope that you can get far enough away from the guard to do what we need to do without getting caught. I'm going to do this the little more obtuse way, and that's by staying out of my disguise. And I'm already taking damage. It's best to go for headshots in this game because everything's just goofy and clunky, so it's just best to go for the headshot. I've got more than enough health, or I should, to finish this level. Now, you can walk straight up to this panel and shoot it out unhindered in disguise. However, if you do that and someone sees you pull your gun, you fail the mission. So I found one thing to do is to just go blow it up when they know who you are and then go disguise yourself, because everyone just conveniently forgets there's an intruder in the base for whatever reason. Hi, I'm Fred, and I'm looking for my dog. A dog? Wait a second. Something's wrong here. I'm going to get a guard. Fortunately, you can hold this guy up and then blow his head off, and he does a backflip. Alright. How do I... There we go. Alright, so now that you're disguised, you put the gun away. And you're essentially done with the gun at this point anyway. So if I had disguised myself first, the trick would be getting over there and blowing that panel out without someone seeing you with a gun. Because if someone sees you with a gun, you essentially soft fail, if that makes sense, because the guys, you don't necessarily fail, but no one will talk to you anymore because they're too busy shooting you. And yes, you can fail this mission because clutter freezes. If you mess around too much at the right point, you'll get a note that he died or some crap like that. Okay, now I need to go. So instead of just using the disguise and asking someone to take him across there, he gets the letter, gives it to this guy, and then while still disguised, climbs into the back of this truck. Now, given he needs Clutter over there, his buddy, to get in, but considering the fact he just climbed that fence and security couldn't see him at all, is it really that far cry of a stretch to think that he could find some way to use that disguise to get them both in there without this? Like, they're just gonna like lay in the back of the truck and ride in there. Like, is nobody in that tunnel? Because you go in that tunnel later and there's guards in there. So is nobody gonna be like, why is the base commander and some idiot in snow camo lying down in the back of that truck? But regardless, that's how you do ice hit. Well, the first part anyway. The first mission is called ice hit, and there are other missions within that. I guess you'd call that objectives. Okay, next part. So we need to find some magnetic mines, and I think I remember where they are. We need to give one to Clutter, and we need to join Dowie for the getaway. Alright, so we've snuck in the back of the truck. I'm interested to see the layout of this base, considering the tunnel we went in was going the other way. Alright. Now let me get my bearings in this level here. I believe it's this big building over here. The guys take lots of hits. It's like I said, it's better to go for the headshot, but whatever. This mission's actually really short if you know where to go, so hopefully we won't have too much trouble.
Copy. Stay close.
There may or may not be a guy back here waiting to ambush me.
That's it. Understood.
Now that you've got the mine, it's just a matter of getting over to where he's at and giving it to him. And you're pretty much at the end at that point. There's like one more thing you have to do. You come back to this mission later and it's much, much more difficult. That guy will eventually just forgot he saw me and go on with his life, so I'm gonna let him. Alright, so basically he tells you that there's a patrol boat which is watching for, you know, people riding in the back of trucks and stuff. So to avoid getting killed by it, you basically have to kill it now. So I have to, the controls are kind of wonky in this game, so I have to maneuver my way over here without falling in that ice water down there. Okay.
Piece of cake.
I love the delivery of the lines from the guy who played Ethan in this game. You just can't beat him. Alright, and once you've done that, you're pretty much golden if you've got enough health. You can pretty much just John Rambo it and go over to the exit here. Which is right here at this ladder. And that's ice hit. You're pretty much done at this point with the first mission. Since this is the end of the first set of missions, I think, and the back of that boat does not look safe at all, but I think this is the, and that is a nice touch, I'll give them that guard, if he's still alive, gets blown up by the explosion. I'm surprised they put the effort into it. You would just think that it would explode and like he just walked through the explosion, but that's actually a nice touch. Anyway, that's going to do it for the first section. We'll be back with Recover the Knock List. We might have to split this one into multiple parts. This is probably the biggest mission in the game. So this is Drenzu signing off.